Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Matt. If you're new to the channel, you already know what time it is. We're about to talk about something really important and significant in your life. So if you're new to the channel, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right here, and let's get into it. So, look, guys, I saw that a lot of people, driving around the last few days, today included. I'm seeing a lot of houses that don't have any Christmas lights on it. They didn't even put Christmas lights on at all. And throughout the years, I've been noticing a lot less people putting Christmas lights on their houses and stuff. And I wonder, why that was. Um, but it's now starting to kind of click with me why exactly it's happening. And it's happening because a lot of people actually can't afford to celebrate Christmas at all. That's what's happening. A lot of people can't afford to celebrate Christmas, so they're opting out of doing it. I mean, I'm seeing tons of videos on TikTok and Reels and stuff like that on Instagram, where a lot of people are just flat out not participating in Christmas anymore because they can't afford it. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, people are gonna, I guess, adapt to the times. I mean, people are already struggling as it is to even be able to afford presents, let alone decorate their property, decorate their house. People can't afford their own utilities. People can't afford food nowadays, guys. So here's the article that I saw. You see this? So it reads, people are canceling parts of Christmas or canceling Christmas entirely. It's largely defined by these factors. Financial necessity. 41% of Americans planned to spend less this year. Many have canceled gift giving to cope with high costs of goods of inflation. Anti-consumerism boycotts. People are just saying, you know what, it's too expensive. I'm just not going to participate. That's growing a lot actually. People just not participating in the economy. Um, Stuff fatigue. Many parents are opting out of buying and physical goods. For their loved ones. People are just tired of this consumerism. The consumerism is fading away. Partly and actually mainly because of the inflation. The inflation is destroying consumerism. People can't afford stuff, so the only way to cope with not affording stuff is just not participate. That's why you're seeing people not participate in buying properties anymore because they can't afford it, whether it's by choice, and majority of it's probably affordability. People are just getting wiped out. People can't afford to continue to sit here and play this game of keeping up with the Joneses. You guys ever heard that expression before? Keeping up with the Joneses? Well, it's pretty much saying that, hey, if Jones is over there, you know, they buy a new car, you buy a new car. If Jill buys I don't know, let's just say a new boat, then you buy a new boat, right? They're taking vacations, you take vacations. People can't continue to do this anymore. They buy a big house, you buy a big house. It's just draining people now. And people are getting wiped out to the point where they just can't continue to spend like they've been spending. They just can't. And at a certain point, people by default just stop participating. And that's why you're seeing that now. You're seeing people stop participating in holidays, Christmas particularly. And it's sad because when you're in the holiday spirit and stuff, and you're out driving around, you want to drive around like Christmas lights with your family and stuff. I mean, who did that growing up? Drive around like Christmas lights as a kid with your parents. I mean, you want to do that stuff, and then you're starting to see like entire neighborhoods with no lights on now. Like why? Like that is a very sad, depressing, you know, course of events right there where people aren't participating anymore. And I noticed when I was going to Walmart and Target and the other stores, then I noticed that a lot of them weren't that busy. I was like, this is kind of weird. This is kind of weird that they're not that busy. And it just kind of dawned upon me that it people really are just not participating anymore. They're just not going to continue just to blow their money. I mean, people work hard for their money. Majority of Americans work hard for their money. And people get tired of this rat race, this game of let me work really hard and spend all my money, and then, oh wait, I'm broke. Let me go back to work again. See, I think a lot of people's mindset would shift if they had money. They had money or a little bit of money, a little bit of savings, to where they didn't have to actually sit there and be on the hamster wheel for 50, 60, 70 hours a week. But since they are people who actually have jobs and have careers still that haven't gotten laid off, and due to the layoffs and AI, they're just working hard and want to save their money because they don't know where things are going. And so Christmas is going to take effect. Christmas is going to get hit. um, you might see someone with a tree up, no lights in their house, but that might be all they can afford. That might be all that they want to afford. I mean, I've seen it where some parents are only doing one present per kid, you know, or three presents per kid. I mean, it's gotten to that point where people are they've had it. They've had it. And then they can't continue. And at a certain point, I mean, do you blame them? Do you blame people for not wanting to continue participate in the system that's draining them? They get drained across the board, on their paychecks, on their cost of living, on their lifestyle. I mean, in America, we're taught you got to keep buying, keep buying, keep buying, keep paying into the system. Keep paying your taxes and then keep spending your money on items and materialism. That's why people are broke. So I don't blame people. I really don't blame people for not wanting to participate in Christmas anymore. I mean, I get the concept of Christmas. Like you want to be there with your family, you decorate, with the tree together with your kids and your partners, your spouses and stuff, and spend time together. And it is nice. Christmas is nice, but the holidays are nice. But I also see the other side of it, where you can decorate the tree in your house and stuff like that, but then turn around and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on presents that kids are going to outgrow a few months later or won't pick up next week. The kids will stop playing with the toys you spent thousands on. You know, I do see when there's a practicality of like, okay, do we really need to spend money? And most of Americans, I would say no, actually. If you guys watched my prior video, um, I did yesterday and the day prior. I mean, 25% of 75 million Americans, 75 million to 80 million Americans have zero in savings. 75 million Americans have zero in savings. That's conservative, by the way. I'm going off a 300 million population in the US because it says 25%, 1 in 4 Americans have zero in savings. And then the average American can barely cover a $400 expense. So, this is just, we're in crazy times, guys. So if 80 million people have zero in the bank, they're not participating in Christmas. You get that? Do you understand that? If 1 in 4 people have zero in the bank, they're not buying anything for Christmas. You understand that? And then if another 70, 80 million people have only a couple $100 to their name, they're not participating in Christmas either. So you have, 70 to 80 million people flat broke. Then you have another 70 to 80 million people that only have a couple $100 to their name. So you have 150 million people, a half the United States population, that has a couple $100 or less in their savings account. They're not participating in Christmas, guys. They're not. They're not. So it's really the middle class who might have some money, a couple thousand in savings, and the upper class. That's it. So that's what you're driving through neighborhoods and stuff. They don't have anything set up because they can't afford it. It's a sad reality that people have to grasp. But it It's just times. It's just the times, guys. It's the times we're living in now, and we have to adapt and we have to figure out. I mean, look, is this economy sustainable? The last 100 years, last 50 years, can we replicate that again? You know, white picket fence, nice house, celebrating all the holidays with your families, taking vacations, 2-car households. None of this is really sustainable. Not in this economy, not with AI approaching your job, not with massive layoffs happening across the board every month in every sector, because AI or because of the recession, I think depression that we're in or going into right now. Companies are just shedding jobs left and right by the thousands to maintain profits. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What's going on with Christmas? Why did you not see a whole lot of lights this year? Now again, there are neighborhoods that have lights, but it's the upper class neighborhoods that had the lights. You go in the average neighborhoods, they didn't have lights, or there might be a couple houses, but that was it. You go in the upper class, upper middle class, and up, those houses are all decked out with lights. So you're starting to see a divide here, right? So, anyways, guys, look, leave a comment below, guys. Let me know if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, guys. And let me know what videos and topics you want me to cover in the comments below, guys. On that note, happy holidays, guys, and I'll talk to y'all later. All right, peace out.